Good evening and welcome to the December 20th, 2021 public board meeting of the Kingston City Land Bank. My name is Mike Gilliard. I'm the executive director. To members of the public, we ask that you limit your comments to 2 minutes per speaker. And with that, I will pass it over to Daniel Cantor, our board chair.
Hi, everybody. Calling to order December 20th, 2021's board meeting. Last one of the year. We'll try to make it fast. Can we vote to adopt last month's meeting minutes?
I move to approve last month's meeting minutes.
All in favor of approving November 2021's meeting minutes?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, everybody. All right, it was a fun and short month because we were a week early. So I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. All 3 houses are sold and occupied, and we have, I believe, 3 happy homeowners. We've heard a little bit from Shane and Paula. I don't think we've heard from Ricky. Mike ran into Tyler at Home Depot, so he's enjoying home ownership. The RFP responses for Hamilton and Henry came through. I think we have 6 for 7 for both houses, so combined. Mike and Owen are kind of going to take the first pass at those, get them anything that's incomplete, get it completed, and then those will go to the acquisition and disposition committee. The timeline's a little bit funny because of the board kind of turnover in January. So we're planning to vote as a board on the disposition of those properties at the February board meeting, if that makes sense. So we were advised by our attorney to try to avoid having any votes in January because we're going to have new members and they're not up to speed. And, anyway, speaking of, so we have had a busy governance month, I feel like. So couple things on the agenda related to that. So we're introducing some bylaw amendments, which include adding a seat to the board so that we're at 10 people instead of 9. However, the mayor is going to become an ex officio board member, non-voting. He will maintain his appointment authority and still be involved in the board, but thought it was kind of time to step back a little bit. So thank you for serving for 3 years, and we look forward to your new capacity. So in addition to that, we have Aneshka is likely to stay in her seat until the new board members are seated. So we'll see if we can nail down 5 people, but she's generously offered to remain on board for a little while longer. Omari has decided to not seek reappointment, and so we are sad to see you go, and we'll talk about that more later. And thank you. Karen, as you guys know, has stepped down. Serena has also decided to step down at the end of this year, just too busy, which we support her completely. And is that all of them? I think, yeah, Karen, yeah. So we'll have a lot of new blood in November, and that'll be interesting. Forsyth Street Advisors has been hired. We voted, I think, last time or the time before on that. So we've started working with them a little bit. Mike has had a couple calls. I had a call with them last week. So this is to basically design some direct grant programs that we could administer maybe in 2022, but yeah. So more to come on that. We had some interesting press this month. The 174 Hasbrook was featured in Upstate House, I believe just online, which is a sister magazine subsidiary, I believe, of Chronogram. So it's basically the Chronogram article slightly retooled, I think. And then we also were mentioned in the Globe and Mail in an article about the life and death or death and life of small North American cities. So we've gone international, you guys. Couldn't be all the way to Canada. Franklin and Greenkill construction has started sort of softly, but I believe asbestos remediation was done at Greenkill this last week, or maybe it's happening this week. The rest of the crew from Maida will mobilize either this week or next week, so that'll be exciting. Franklin Owen has a couple of RFPs out or done for various work there as our sort of phase one approach to this project. So if you know any contractors that might want to do a bunch of demo, send them our way. Erica and team has gotten the holiday fundraiser going on GiveGab. So tell everyone and let's try to raise some money. I'm not sure where we are on the $30,000 goal, but we've done pretty damn well. So I think Erica will be able to answer that question later. In addition, kind of a funny thing, there's an account on Instagram called Cheap Old Houses that has almost 2 million followers, and I sort of know them, and they created a special edition t-shirt for their merchandise, and 100% of proceeds are going to the Kingston City Land Bank. So that's kind of cool. In addition, Novo operating grant for next year was awarded, I think this week or I guess last week. It is signed, it is all done. That's awesome. And then we'll also be applying in January for a grant that basically covers the rest of what we'll need to do the Legacy Cities program. So Mike has all of it under control. Thank you, Mike. And the last thing, I think we had a meeting with the new council members elect the other day. I think it went really well. I think they learned a lot. So I think we'll be trying to do kind of additional meetings like that with existing members because they don't seem to know a whole ton of a lot about the land bank. But it was nice to meet those people and sort of initiate them. So it was 4 new council members plus Rennie Scott Childress. And I believe Naima will now be kind of a liaison to between the land bank and the common council. So I think we can expect to see her at our next board meeting. I think that's it for me. So, oh, we forgot to do the physical location thing. Shoot. I guess we'll do it now. Sorry. My name is Daniel Cantor. I am at 142 Clinton Avenue in Kingston. Steve Noble, tell us where you are.
Steve Noble here, 101 Wilson Avenue.
Aneshka.
Aneshka Shebek at 259 Abil Street, Kingston.
Bob.
I'm Bob Dennison at 122 Wilson Avenue.
Ilana.
Ilana Berger, 146 Franklin Street.
Omari.
Omari Washington. I'm in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
Oh, damn. And Bartek.
Bartek Stardai, 354 South Wall Street in Kingston.
Awesome. Omari, I'm very jealous. I hope you're having fun. Okay, now we've done that. We have no members of the public, so I'm going to skip that. Mike, tell us the news.
I'm just still reeling from Omari being in Puerto Vallarta. That's amazing.
Why he looks so relaxed. He's like,
Yeah. Totally. So I will also try to keep it brief. We currently still have 8 properties under pre-development. This includes the 5 for Legacy Cities. Previously, I had mentioned the targeted closing date, which is still sort of coming into focus of March, and that probably will be closer to April. So more news on that as that progresses, but it is moving forward rather rapidly. The bank is taking the package to their credit committee, and various things are happening at the state level too, just to figure everything out. But we're still working towards an April closing on that. As Daniel mentioned, the 2 RFP responses for Henry and Hamilton came back in. We got 4 responses for Henry and 3 for Hamilton. So as Daniel mentioned, we're in the process of reviewing and quite frankly, kind of finalizing and making sure everybody got everything in for completed packages. And we look forward to having a discussion about those as well. I did want to say thank you to Owen, who's not here, for all the work he did tirelessly opening up the buildings, even when we passed what we said would be our final walkthrough. We opened it up for one more round of walkthroughs. So that was a lot of coordination, and it's greatly appreciated. On those RFPs, as Daniel mentioned, probably looking for a February decision to move forward with negotiations for an agreement, and probably targeting a closing date for us to sell those properties in March of next year. And then discussions about our pipeline. We believe the city still has interest in engaging with us, with MeBeWeB and BIPOC developers on vacant land. And we're looking forward to moving that conversation forward next year. It's very exciting. In February, I think Daniel forgot to mention, or maybe he did mention and I forgot, but look forward to the report out to the council on our activities on an annual basis. That's super exciting way to just update folks on what we're up to. We last month I had said that we didn't have any current new title reports. On Friday afternoon, I did receive 7 more title reports, which was great. Unfortunately, the 5 of those are slated for development by RUPCO. One we'd already looked at, and one hadn't really been foreclosed on yet. But we look forward to continuing the conversations, especially getting into next year and just kind of expediting that process and finding ways to work together better on that. So it's great to receive those reports and greatly appreciated. And finally, on the kind of pipeline discussion, we've requested a meeting with the city and Novo to sit down and kind of continue the conversation that has been spoken about by the board, and just move that ball forward. Next year will be a big year for us. Securing the Legacy Cities work involves having a pipeline of future work to continue doing that, and we're really excited to demonstrate that we can increase the output of families and homes that we were thankfully, I think, pretty successful with this year. So those are my updates on the pre-development side. On the construction side, as Daniel mentioned, we have permits pulled on Franklin, permits pulled on Greenkill. With your approval tonight, we'll have a couple of RFPs to move forward in on both projects for windows and water and sewer. And to everyone who's worried about snow removal, don't worry, our snow removal contract is in place. So we're ready to go. I know that was keeping everyone up at night, but don't worry about it. Sorry. No warranty claims. I think that's useful to mention. The families haven't, we keep in touch with everyone quietly, but nothing to report on that. And the next round, of sales and marketing updates will probably, I think, start somewhere around March. It depends on, just making sure that construction is progressing on Greenkill per the schedule, and seeing where we get with Franklin. Speaking with Owen, I think we're still targeting somewhere around a February date to have completed our work on Franklin and then put that house back out to RFP. So we're trying to get those 2 timelines to dovetail so that we're marketing and selling 2 homes at once as opposed to 1, and then another one a few months or a month right behind it. So to be continued on that. Yes, the grants for our operating expense, as Daniel mentioned, was approved, expected to be funded by February 1st. So that's great, if not sooner. Legacy Cities, we were informed that we should expect funding to be received somewhere around March, which is great for an April closing. Moving forward, the conversation with the city about the ARPA funding, we were asked to submit kind of some general boilerplate in terms of photos and I believe a brief kind of mission statement for the organization to be included in some of the promotional materials. So the conversation is still ongoing, and we've been asked to be a part of sort of what's representative of the conversations that are taking place. So I think that's good news. And then Forsyth Street, as Daniel mentioned, still an ongoing discussion around potential future programs or funding streams, with a target of trying to get something prepared for a fundable proposal in July of next year. So that's very exciting. And at some point in Forsyth's agreement with us, they will be coming to the board and giving some updates on where they're at. So it's not something that, anyone who's interested obviously can talk to me about it or talk to them about it if you want. There'll be a formal presentation coming up soon. Then the last thing I wanted to mention in the other category, in addition to all the great press that Daniel mentioned, I wanted to highlight that we were also mentioned as part of all the land banks in New York State in the state's 5-year housing plan, which doesn't seem like much, but in the full 5-year plan for everything the state has said that it's targeting, including land banks in that report, I think is a really big nod to sort of where we're at collectively throughout the state. And of course, specific to our work as well, but just it's a good kind of sea change as to how the state is viewing land banks. Part of that obviously is that they've also funded a program, the Legacy Cities program for land banks. So it's two good things. And then just wanted to thank all the board members who attended the meeting with the council. I think that went really well, and it's probably setting the stage for a lot of good conversations next year, we hope. And Councilmember Mohammed as our liaison, I think bodes really well to keeping those lines of communication open as much as we can. And then finally, on a personal level, I wanted to really say thank you to Amari, Karin, Neshka, and Serena, not all of them who are here, but just echoing what Daniel has said. I haven't been involved with the land bank as long as many of you have, and I haven't been around as long as Daniel or many of you, but I really appreciate it. And it's been a privilege and a pleasure to work with you guys, and I hope we keep in touch. So that was it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Committee reports. Bob, A&D.
Okay, we had an exciting A&D committee meeting. Actually, it wasn't all that exciting, but it was a little exciting. We discussed the final decisions for Resolution 172, and we're going to put those, we're creating a document, but given our significant change in board membership and the Common Council's significant change in board membership, we were not going to do anything until February, January, February, to make sure that everybody settles in before we hit them with this, with where we're going with the remainder of the 37 or 35 that were on that list. We developed a process whereby for the RFPs that we're getting for Henry and for Hamilton to make a selection of the successful proposers. And we discussed the process and finalized it, I think, and we're ready for the time we expect it to be in February or January. We'll do the process in February at the board meeting to select the successful proposers for those two buildings. And we've done it in such a way that what they are proposing is as important as how much they are proposing, so that it's not just driven by cost, by highest bidder. We want to make sure that they want to do something that's consistent with our mission and that they're able to deliver it, which is an important piece of that. So it'll be interesting to see how that works and how the proposals flush out. And I appreciate Mike spending the time to clean up the proposals to get them to a point where we can look at them, because I'm sure they vary greatly. I'm sure that's a good thing. And there's two other issues that we wanted to that we discussed at the A&D meeting and need a vote for the board on. The first is we have a proposal from Jeff Lau Plumbing to do sewer and water work at our 124 Franklin. And he proposed we have to replace both the water service and the sewer service. And what the A&D committee would like is a resolution from the board to engage Lau Plumbing and Heating to do this work for a not to exceed $20,000 in cost. So if we could have a motion to award the contract to Lau Plumbing to replace the water and the sewer lines at 124 Franklin, not to exceed $20,000, that would be great. Anybody want to make a motion? Daniel. Second.
I can second it.
All right, the mayor seconds it. I don't know, do I get to conduct this thing? It's like I'm being Daniel for this. This is very exciting.
Go for it. It's my line, but it's fine.
Okay. All those in favor or any discussion? Okay, no discussion, then all those.
I'm just, my only concern, of course, is that you've considered other plumbers besides Lowe's.
We did solicit proposals from a number of plumbers. and low was the proposal that was responsive. And so yes, we did ask others to propose.
Good enough.
So any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstainers? Okay, good deal. The second one is a vote on to approve the windows for 149 Greenkill. If you remember, when we were moving forward on Greenkill, one of the things we decided to do to save some money on construction was to cut out the middleman when we're purchasing materials that were standard and that we had already specified. And one set of materials is the windows. And we solicited proposals to do that. They're Pella windows. We received 2 proposals, and the lowest cost proposal is Builder's First Source. So I'm going to do your job again, Daniel. So I guess we could entertain a resolution to accept Builder's First Source proposal to provide windows for 149 Greenkill at a cost not to exceed $8,750.
Bob, I don't know if, can you up that cost to exceed just a little, because that's not a final quote.
Sure, you could dump it to, you could go up to 9,000 comfortably. That is higher than what he bid, than what he quoted,
Oh, okay.
by about $500. So if you wanted to go to 9,000, that wouldn't really make much of a difference, and that would be fine.
I'd go to 10 just to be safe.
Not to exceed 10.
We spent 24,000 on windows at Hasbro.
Right.
I think 10 is.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. I mean, his proposal was about 8,300, I think, is if memory serves. So yeah, that would be, I think that's fine to not to exceed 10. So I guess you need a motion, Daniel.
Can I do it again?
You can do it again. You can make the motion again.
Motion.
Okay, in a second.
I'll second it.
Anushka. Okay, any discussion? Aside from raising it to 10. No other discussion? So all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Any abstainers? No. Okay, so we have two resolutions that that'll enable us to enter into contracts to purchase those services and materials. And the last thing we talked about was construction projects by Owen. So Mike already talked about that. So I think I'm done. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Omari, one last time, do you tell us about audit finance?
I think there weren't too many things of note from the November financials, but we continued to receive some donations, about $1,725. I think that was mostly from the event in October at Kingston Standard, some of those donations that came in a little bit later. And then there was some additional, so that brings our year-to-date donations to $8,795. And then our expenses, we incurred some additional expenses for architecture services and clean out services for the 2 remaining pilot properties on Franklin and Greenkill. Beyond that, I don't know if there's anything else to report. Erica, did you have anything else that you wanted to share?
So there wasn't a lot of expenses other than normal operating. So the only 2 that actually did stand out were the architectural services and clean out services for the new projects. Year to date, that's year to month end for November. So we are happy to share that we got a donor advised donation of $10,000 that hit our account in December, and it will be reflective on, in our financials that we go over for next month. However, it's really exciting. And with the, so year to date with the potential match, We will be at $24,000 for donations, for individual donations, and $9,000 for grant awards, unrestricted grant awards. So overall, you guys did it. Very exciting. But don't give up. We still have another campaign that we're working on. It is available. I shared the link. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. All that stuff. Oh, and another thing is we will need to to put out an RFP for an audit. So not necessarily an audit, because we're not in a position to really need a full audit, just for a review of our financials. So that needs to go out for January in preparation for our ABO reporting on March 31st. This year will be the first year with relative activity, but because we've put ourselves in a position where we structured everything's documented, I feel really good about how smooth that will run. And that's all I have.
And because we've had auditor, is this just because our contract with them is up? Okay.
So it depends on how the contract is structured. Typically, some organizations do like a 3-year with an audit firm, so then you don't have to constantly do an RFP. It is best practice, though, to issue an RFP to find a new auditor every couple of years, or ask them to, even if you stay with someone for longer than 3 years, that they change up their audit team. So just to get in best practices, putting it out there. But it should be really easy.
Cool. Wow, our fundraising, we did good. Great job, everyone.
Daniel, I have one question. If somebody wants to give us a donation and they give me a check, what do I do with it?
You give it to me.
Okay.
You tell me and I'll come find you, Bob.
Okay. All right. Okay.
We do encourage the donations to be made on GiveGab, and it's they receive their thank you that way, and it's really personalized with a beautiful picture of our ribbon cutting. Also, it serves as their as a letter of their donation for tax purposes. And we just live in a virtual world, so we kind of want to encourage that as much as possible, and limit PayPal. If people want to donate through PayPal, we will not stop them. If they want to give us a check, obviously we'll not stop them, but we really want to encourage everything going through GiveGab. But make sure you get that check, Bob.
And just add a 0 before you pass it off.
Is there a way to kind of notate donations that are made by check on GiveGab?
So all manual checks are being put in by my team. Okay. So anything that we receive, so also all the donations that we receive through PayPal will be updated. So we have a track record, and we can now issue thank yous from there as well for anyone who had not received an individual thank you. We also have the fiscal year 2022 campaign up and ready to go, and that will go live on January 1st.
Great.
Thanks. Bartek Communications.
Hey, Daniel, I think we may need a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Oh, right. That's a thing we do now. I'm entertaining motions to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll motion that we accept the treasurer's report, and also thank Amari for his service. So thanks for filling in and for your previous service as well.
Yeah, thanks, Omari, and I'll second that. Thanks for all the different posts that you have filled in your journey through the last few years. But I'll second the motion.
All in favor of accepting the treasurer's report?
Aye.
Oppose, abstain, motion passes. Thank you. And thank you, Omari, 1,000 more times. Okay, Bartek. Thank you, Steve, for reminding me.
Yeah, the communications committee did not meet this month. But I do want to make everyone aware of two things that we are planning for next year. Number one is planning some kind of quarterly event in which, could be in person, could be virtual. But this event is geared towards potential applicants for our homes. So introducing what they might need to do to apply, and also what they might need to do to prepare for the application process, and then also for being actually qualified for a home. This is important primarily because as we know, we received over 200 applications for the first marketing round, but many of those households ended up not being quite ready, right, to purchase a home. So I think we should feel some responsibility to just let applicants know what they might need to do to prepare. Secondly, as you know, there is $30,000 in the budget for next year for a volunteer program. And Mike and I are discussing the potential creation of an ambassador program. So designating certain members of the community as ambassadors of our work, so basically, and spread the good gospel, if you will. And then in terms of for the remainder of the year, I think I also want to support the current giving campaign in whatever way possible through the communications work. And that's all I got.
Thank you. Okay. Aneshka. It's a big one.
Okay, so we had a very productive December 10th meeting. And actually, prior to that, Brian Sue, our lawyer, had already taken a good look at our bylaws and the revisions that we were proposing. And I hope that all of you took a look at those revisions. And in a minute, I will read them to you so we can actually vote on them. Let's see. So yes, we have already gone over the resignation of the board members, and that we are now going to be interviewing people who applied for board positions over the last few years, plus a new batch of people who applied this year. We primarily wanted to slow down the process of getting new members in because we didn't see the diverse population in this particular round pool. So we're hopefully going to have more diversity and propose new members to Steve so that he can select them by the end of hopefully the first week of the first full week of January, I should say. And then what we really hope to do is to seat the new board members at the January 20th meeting. So I will handhold the whole process with everybody who is willing to do the interviews and make sure that our replacements for all the people that are leaving and the new open seat seats plural are filled with a diverse pool of people. So I will now read you the revisions to the bylaws so that we can vote on them. So keep your attention focused. You can actually follow the bouncing ball in your board package if you want to. So the Kingston City Land Bank has moved offices, so we needed to change our address to begin with. We then tackled the number composition in terms of office paragraph and changed the directors to also still be appointed by the mayor of Kingston, and Steve is the mayor of Kingston right now. But in addition, we changed the bylaws to add 3 residents at large from any district or ward from within the city of Kingston. Because we were really hampered by the fact that Karen and I were leaving from the same ward, and we, and that limited our applicant pool. So then the organizational paragraph has been changed to the mayor shall serve as a non-voting ex officio member of the board. The mayor shall be entitled to attend all meetings of the board, provided that the mayor shall not be entitled to vote or on any action or matter that shall not be counted toward and shall not be counted toward quorum. So just to clarify further the change in the mayor's role in the quorum paragraph, as I just said, a majority of the entire, that's number 14, if you're following along, a majority of the entire board of directors, excluding the mayor, shall constitute a quorum for the transaction of business. And then second, a majority of the directors, excluding the mayor present, whether or not a quorum is present, may adjourn any meeting to another time and place without notice to any director. So let's see, we then scroll all the way down to I guess the appointed officers paragraph in the Article 5 officers section. Paragraph 13 was added. Assistant officer. The mayor shall be an assistant officer and shall have such powers and duties as prescribed from time to time by the board. The assistant officer shall be an ex officio member of the board without voting rights and shall not be counted towards meeting quorum. I believe that is all. So what I would like to hear from you all is either a discussion or a motion to accept all these revisions of the bylaws.
So this is, remember, it's like a 2-month process. So we actually just introduced this tonight, but we can't vote until next time.
Oh, yeah. So, but the trick is that we also need to, this was the big trick. We also need to seat new board members at the January 20th annual meeting. So we are jumping the
your
gun.
objections tonight, we're gonna proceed.
Right.
with the
Yes,
assumption
as if,
we'll pass.
exactly. Thank you for clarifying that. Yes.
No problem.
I kind of skipped over that because I was being very rosy about the way that we were going to replace these very essential board members at our annual meeting. And we want to do that, right? We don't want to have any vacancies at our annual meeting. Yes. The proposal is for you to consider this, and we are actually not going to vote on it until January 20th. At which time we actually will be also, right after we approve the bylaw change, we'll also be seating the new members. That's the hope. Is anyone confused about that? I'm sorry that I didn't explain that well. Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
So,
and just to clarify slightly further, is that
Sure.
technically, then once we make the bylaws change, the new members that we may hopefully invite to that meeting won't actually be able to vote that night. even after the bylaws change, because they will have to sign their oath of office technically, and City Hall, which won't be open till like the next day. So there is going to be a day or so gap for folks to come in and do all of that work. But I just wanted to, the intent will be there. And again, they'll be welcome to join us that night, but they won't officially be able to vote on anything that night, even after the bylaws change.
Now that brings up the question, will we have quorum?
We should, because if you're there, then we
Of
should.
course.
Right. So yeah, assuming we're all on the same page with the bylaws, we should have 5 votes. And then we won't do any more votes that night.
All right. So yeah, that's all I've got.
Thank you. Design committee, not a ton to report. Jessica has been working way harder than I have with on Greenkill, so it's gonna be gorgeous. And that's kind of it. I'm sort of a little unclear on what the Legacy Cities projects, like just the design process of that. So if the committee is going to be kind of as involved as the first 5, then I will very likely be seeking additional members, but I don't want to like sign people up for a thing that they may end up doing nothing for a year. So yeah, that's it. We have no public comments and we're kind of at the end. Anyone? Once again, I will say a huge thank you to Omari and Serena and Karen and Aneshka, although we'll see you next month, for Omari, 3 exciting years, for the other 2, a shorter stint, but very valuable one. And so, yeah, just very grateful for you guys. That's all I have.
Can I just also say that I will miss you both. I appreciate all the years and look forward to seeing you around Kingston anyway. But thank you so much for all your work.
And you better come to the next ribbon cutting.
Definitely. Yeah, thank you all. And
For very sure.
I will stay involved and, keep track of what's happening with the land bank. So I feel like it's an exciting year coming up. Yeah. Hope the new board members are ready for it.
All right. Any other new business? All right. Then I guess we'll vote to adjourn. I think we might have broken a record. Should I make another motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor of adjourning this board meeting? Motion passes unanimously. Have a wonderful Christmas and New Year's, or whatever you celebrate. And thanks.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Bye, happy
everybody.
holidays.
Hey, stay healthy.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
Stay away from the COVID.
Ooh, yeah.